I don't have a memory of where that concept of the roses came from. I think it was my wife Jean, because she's always been so much a flower lady and loves roses. I think it was her idea that we should do something like that, and it sure worked, didn't it?
To create a better Alberta and to form a progressive conservative government in Alberta.
I think the most important thing we did in our time of office was the repatriation of the Constitution. Well, we knew we had to get a very significant number of premiers behind us. The only way we're going to get Mr. Trudeau to back away was that we showed him a very strong provincial position.
Added an energy, and we moved them from the living room to the porch, and I'm beginning to think that we ought to move them off the property.
Well, there's a puzzle always in most people's minds about Mr. Trudeau and I in the personal relationship. I had a lot of respect for him. He was an individual sports guy. My whole background was team sports, and that created some difficulty, but we recognized it in each other, and we found commonality as we worked along. The Heritage Fund was a matter that was thoroughly discussed with our caucus. We got across to Albertans that they had ownership in it, and there was incredible support for the concept of the Heritage Fund. One of my great thrills of being in government was to be responsible with Mrs. Lougheed and establish a Ministry of Culture. We were in Jasper going through the cabinet positions, and she said, "Where's culture?" Of course, the jock had to stop cold there and look at it, and we realized that we needed to have in the province of Alberta a Ministry of Culture, and it was number 8 in the pecking order. She said, not down in number 16. The environmental stewardship has become more and more important, but it has to be done in a positive way, and what Premier Redford is doing properly is making sure that our future policies are not just pro-business and pro-economy, but they're also pro-environment as well. When we were elected official opposition, we had doubts as to whether we would be successful, primarily because there were very few people who thought we could do this. We went into the first session of the legislature, and I looked in at the room in the legislative gallery, and I can't believe it that Social Credit were foolish enough to line all their chairs up on one side of the dais. And the media and the public would look down and see the 6 of us and all this huge group of social creditors on the other side. They'd look down and automatically they'd feel empathy towards the poor 6 opposition members. And of course, when we became government in '71, you can imagine we didn't do that. And remember, we started with 10 seats and we needed 49 to form a government. But we were all surprised that we in fact formed the government. It was a remarkable night. The family was concerned, both Jean and myself, how would they react to the high profile that they were going to become involved in. Because I remember my daughter Andrea saying to me, "What does this mean, Dad?" And I said, "Well, it means we've got to move to Edmonton." And she said, "I demand a recount." So although Edmonton turned out to be a beautiful story for us,